Hey guys, this is National Master Kevin Yang back at it with another video. So, of course, I told you that I forgot to record videos last week. So now, here it is with analysis with NiceChessD. So, let's begin. E4, B6. So, this is what I like to test sometimes against low rateds, the Owen's defense. So, do you know why I like to test this? So it's simply because I attack the center in the way that black is never the aggressor in the center. Black is going to have this sort of turtle setup on his own base that will slowly look toward the center. Now I would never do this in the game because sometimes it does backfire, but other times it is very successful. So after d4, bishop b7, knight c3, e6, this is all standard. Now at this moment I forgot whether I should have been playing f5 or not, although I'm pretty sure this is a losing variation for me. E takes f5, bishop takes g2, there's queen h5, g6, f takes, bishop g7. This is losing for me, I'm pretty sure. King f8, and after g8 queen, king takes g8, I'm not sure. I don't think it was king take. I don't think it was this. It was like knight h3 or something with knight f4 or knight at knight g5, but this is losing for black. So obviously I didn't go into this. I played bishop b4. And after knight e2, I played knight f6, and I sort of said, okay, I'm threatening. Knight takes e4 now. And then a3 happens, and I was like, yeah, very good move. So after bishop e7, bishop f4, I play the move a6 to prevent knight b5, and after queen d2, I play the move d5. Now, when d5 occurred, I sort of said, NiceChessD is probably going to play e5, and after I retreat, it's going to be looking like a typical French defense, and I was a prophet, and I saw it beforehand. Knight fd7, knight d1, c5, c3, knight c6, now the move bishop g3 to potentially introduce f4, then just back off. So here I played knight a5, intending to say I have the flexibility to go to b3. I also have the flexibility to just let the knight sit there and wait one day until it gets to c4. So after bishop c2, I said I'm going to take, I'm going to bring my rook to this file, bring my queen to this file, and sort of look at that bishop on c2. So then after c takes d4, rook c8, rook c1, I said I'm going to put my knight there, and after queen d3, I play the move b5. And now I was like, first of all, my knight may just sit there for a while. We may be able to play queen a5, but I assumed that our friend NiceChessD was going to castle, right? But instead, our friend was just a little bit too impatient with chasing the knight off. And I said, check. So then I suggested, okay, if king f1, then I even get to consider knight d2. Because after king g1, there is this move, knight takes b3. You might be like, what? Okay. Queen takes b3. Whoopsie daisies, right? So I was hoping that would happen, but it didn't happen. So after b4, queen takes a3. You can see that the pawn defending this pawn is gone. And now after castles, I trade and I get the extra 2 pawns. And at this point, f4 is a good choice. It threatens f5 and sort of asks the question, how are you going to keep those 2 pawns but also defend against my threats? So I just said, no can do. Play g6. After rook b1, let me just bring my bishop back. And after knight e3, I was like, okay, well, you offered me a free knight, but I'm going to give you a chance. So I played knight d2. Not much better, forking the 2 rooks. But after knight g4, take, rook takes, h5, and I start to expand my position. And of course, NiceChessD goes all Hail Mary on me. At this moment, what was it? If we look at the time, I don't know what this displays, but around here, I was low on time, right? Because I was playing multiple simul games, and obviously I couldn't, react to them all at the same time. So I just played based on intuition. I said, threaten the knight, threaten the bishop, threaten the knight. See, I'm all making forcing moves. This made it much easier. So I took bishop e6, just sort of keeping this pawn chain connected. Bishop a5 gave me knight c4, and after knight takes e6, f takes, my pawn structure is steady again. Rook f6, rook c1, king f2, and now knight takes d6. Now I could have also, well, after this is what I played in the game, but after, let's say, king d7, this one also works, except after rook f7, king takes d6, bishop b4, king c6, this looks completely winning for black as well. So in the game, I had like a minute left. I don't know. I was playing a really hard game against another chess club member. And after rook c1, I just played knight takes d6, rook takes, and after bishop d2, I remember just moving by instinct, giving a check to give myself more time. Now at this moment, afterwards I saw that king takes e6 was a move. I mean, if I had more time on the other boards, I would have played king takes e6. But this is the adventure of playing a simul. And sometimes you're going to get low on time, and sometimes you're not going to make the best moves. And that's okay. After knight e4, rook takes e4, d takes, bishop takes, and you can see that I slowly convert this with the help of, time pressure from NiceChessD, but also just with all this material. I remember I have like a few seconds here. I have like 5 seconds. And around here, I believe NiceChessD gave me 15 seconds more of time. And that 15 seconds made the difference between me drawing the game based on insufficient material or winning the game with checkmate. So what can we learn from this game? Now, I felt like NiceChessD played the opening really well. This was all good. This was all good. This was all balanced. Knight c4, queen d3. So up to here, it's all good. Now, the only mistake was the critical move b3. This allowed queen a5. This allowed me to take on a3. So it allowed all sort of things. And if these guys were still here, let's say white just castled, maybe going for an f4, f5, this would be balanced, right? I mean, I could play a5 maybe, but after something like f4, g6, and something like bishop e1 with the threat of g4, maybe I play h5, but it would be balanced. It would be a very tough strategic game for me to break through on this side. It would be a tough game for white to break through here, and it would be tough all around. But in the game, I got queen takes a3, and you saw that with the help of 2 extra pawns, as long as I prevented the play, and especially, the free knight, which I politely declined. So from here on out, especially with the help of these 2 extra pawns, I sort of felt more at ease about my position, just threatening white's pieces, making forcing moves. Now, one small tip when it comes to time management. Right? So when you're trying to make a time control in a game, when you're trying to get yourself more time, if it's an increment thing or if you're just trying to move fast, one thing is make more forcing moves, right? And sometimes if you want your opponent to spend more time, one of the other suggestions is to make moves that confuse your opponent. At first that sounds silly, but psychologically, if you confuse your opponent and make them think a little bit more, that's going to give you a better edge in terms of feeling more comfortable about the clock in general. So in this game, I had no time here, so I had to make forcing moves, and I made a forcing move here. I should have just taken the rook, but I still converted this without much time and with the help of NiceChessD's sort of add time feature. Also due to chess.com, so sometimes a gift of courtesy is always appreciated. So in terms of everything was great. I would say this game was determined by just one move blunder. Just one move. And you would have been on par with what I was doing. So, thank you for listening, and I really hope you enjoyed watching this. Otherwise, just, keep learning, keep pursuing your passion for the game, and if you don't have a passion for the game, try to find it, because it's a very intriguing board game that has a very rich history. I don't know much about the history, but I know I played it just because I was curious about what all the pawns and all the moves had to do within the game. So, hope you find your curiosity, hope you have fun, and I'll see you in the next video.